Chapter 2, Your Greatest Asset, Uncovering a Lifetime of Transferable Skills. Sections. Section 2.1, Mining Decades of Experience, a Step-by-Step Skills Audit. Section 2.2, Translating Global Achievements into Ontario's Language. Section 2.3, The Power of Soft Skills, Reliability, Judgment, and Wisdom. Section 2.4, Identifying Your Career Superpower and Crafting Your Value Statement. When you walk into an Ontario workplace, you do not arrive empty-handed. You carry a dense, intricate toolkit shaped by decades of decisions, crises averted, and teams led. The challenge is not that you lack value, it is that your value has been packaged in customs, languages, and contexts that Canadian employers may not immediately recognize. This chapter will help you unpack that kit, polish every instrument inside, and lay them out in a way that makes hiring managers lean forward. We will not dwell on what you have lost by moving. Instead, we will map exactly what you have gained and how to make it impossible to ignore. Your age is not a countdown. It is a catalogue. Let's begin turning its pages. Section 2.1, Mining Decades of Experience, a Step-by-Step Skills Audit. Most of us remember our careers as a blur of job titles and company names. But employers in Ontario hire based on specific, demonstrable competencies, not nostalgia. A skills audit turns your personal history into a searchable inventory of tools you can offer right now. This exercise is not about crafting a chronological list. It is about sifting through the silt of a lifetime to find the gold nuggets. I have walked countless mature professionals through this process. The first step is always the hardest, giving yourself permission to see everything you have done as a source of skill, not just the paid, official roles. Raising a family, organizing a community event, navigating a complex immigration system, these are masterclasses in project management, budgeting, and cross-cultural negotiation. When you begin to see all of life as a classroom, the list of transferable abilities becomes astonishingly long. The three-column mining method. Grab a notebook or open a blank document. Create 3 columns. Column 1, Life Episode. Write short trigger phrases: managed farm in Punjab, cared for aging parent, organized church fundraisers, survived corporate restructuring twice, taught myself basic bookkeeping. Column 2, Action Verbs. Pull out everything you actually did. Not was responsible for, but negotiated, diagnosed, trained, persuaded, budgeted, maintained. Use Ontario's action-oriented language. Column 3, Ontario Competency. Translate the action into a skill phrase that a Canadian employer would recognize. For example, negotiated with suppliers becomes vendor management and cost control. Diagnosed engine problems without diagnostic tools becomes advanced troubleshooting under resource constraints. If a phrase feels foreign, ask yourself, what did this allow the organization to do? The answer, saving time, increasing safety, retaining customers, is your competency. Let me show you how Maria, a 62-year-old former teacher from the Philippines, used this method. She initially wrote, taught English to high school students for 25 years. After our session, her third column included curriculum design for diverse learning needs, conflict de-escalation with teenagers and parents, multilingual communication and instruction, and a public speaking to groups of 40+. She was no longer just a teacher, she was a learning and development specialist with decades of people management expertise. Figure, with light background and high contrast, create image in landscape orientation best describe and represents the flowing. Make sure it is accurate and there is no repetition. Extra detailed AI-ready prompt for AI-generated diagram showing a 3-column worksheet pinned to a corkboard. The columns are labeled Life Episode, Action Verbs, and Ontario Competency. A few example entries are filled with neat handwriting. Managed a family grocery shop translates to inventory control and customer relationship management. A pair of reading glasses and a steaming cup of tea sit at the bottom corner, conveying a calm, reflective, domestic setting. The lighting is warm and natural, as if from a nearby window, and the overall composition emphasizes clarity and encouragement. From audit to inventory. Once your 3 columns are full, group similar competencies. You might see patterns: communication, crisis management, financial oversight, mentoring, operational efficiency. These clusters are the scaffolding of your new professional identity. Circle the ones that energize you most. A skill you love to use is a skill you will communicate with genuine enthusiasm, and employers can feel that. Do not discard a skill because it came from unpaid work. In Ontario, volunteer coordinator is a legitimate professional title. Community liaison appears in job descriptions across non-profit and government sectors. Your life episodes are not filler, they are proof of character and initiative. Section 2.2, Translating Global Achievements into Ontario's Language. Having a rich inventory is one thing. Describing it so that a busy hiring manager in Toronto or Ottawa understands its worth in 5 seconds is another. This is the art of translation. I do not mean merely swapping words from your mother tongue to English. I mean reframing your achievements into the outcomes, metrics, and values that drive Canadian workplaces. In many cultures, self-promotion is uncomfortable. Humility is prized. But in Ontario's job market, failing to state your impact clearly is not modesty, it is invisibility. You are not bragging, you are giving the employer the data they need to make a confident decision. Think of yourself as a bridge builder. On one side is the full truth of your capability. On the other is a hiring manager with a problem to solve. Your language must carry that truth across. Before and after, the resume bullet test. Consider a bullet point you might instinctively write: worked as chief accountant for a manufacturing company in Lagos. Now apply the translation mindset. What did you actually do? I once worked with a gentleman, Emeka, who held that role. After gentle questioning, we uncovered that he had uncovered a long-standing inventory fraud, recovered $200,000 in assets, and implemented a new internal control system that prevented recurrence. His translated bullet read, recovered $200,000 through forensic audit and redesigned internal controls across 5 departments, eliminating inventory shrinkage by 40% in 1 year. The first version is a label. The second is a reason to hire. This translation relies on 3 key questions. What was the challenge? What action did you take? What measurable result occurred? The CAR framework, challenge, action, result, is your most powerful scriptwriter. Practice it with 5 pivotal moments from your career. Figure, with light background and high contrast, create image in landscape orientation best describe and represents the flowing. Make sure it is accurate and there is no repetition. Extra detailed AI-ready prompt for AI-generated diagram showing a before and after resume bullet comparison. On the left, a faded, grey box contains the text worked as a supervisor in a textile factory. A red X appears next to it. On the right, a glowing warm yellow box reads, led a team of 15 textile operators, reduced defects by 22% through redesigned quality checks and cross-training. A green checkmark sits beside it. The background is a soft office scene with a subtle Canadian maple leaf motif, symbolizing cultural translation. The lighting is bright and optimistic. Mirroring Ontario's job postings. Go to a job board. Find 3 advertisements for roles that interest you, even if you feel underqualified. Print them or copy the text. Highlight every repeated phrase: stakeholder engagement, continuous improvement, safety compliance, cross-functional collaboration. These are the words that Ontario employers use to describe their pain points. Now, return to your skills inventory. Where do your translated competencies naturally overlap with their language? Mirroring is not copying, it is demonstrating that you speak the same professional dialect. It signals, I understand your world. A small but potent tip: Ontario workplaces love the concept of coaching and mentorship. If you have ever patiently taught a junior colleague, corrected a mistake without shaming the person, or shared wisdom that improved a team's performance, you have mentored. Use that word. It transforms age from a liability into a leadership credential. Section 2.3, The Power of Soft Skills, Reliability, Judgment, and Wisdom. We call them soft skills, but there is nothing soft about keeping a team calm when a deadline collapses, or knowing exactly when to bend a rule to serve a client and when to hold firm. These are hard-won competencies forged in the furnace of real life. For a mature worker, they are the secret currency that no fresh graduate can counterfeit. Reliability is the simplest, yet most desired, talent in any Ontario workplace. When I speak with employers, especially in logistics, healthcare, and small business, the number one complaint is not lack of technical knowledge, it is attendance and dependability. If you have spent 40 years showing up on time, finishing what you start, and making commitments you keep, you are already ahead of a frighteningly large portion of the workforce. But you must name this asset. In an interview, say it calmly, "In my entire career, I have never missed a critical deadline without communicating it early and offering a solution. I treat reliability as my professional signature." That statement is a gift to a hiring manager exhausted by unpredictability. Judgment is another quiet superpower. You have probably walked through several economic downturns, witnessed the rise and fall of management fads, and learned to separate signal from noise. This means you are less likely to panic, less impressed by empty urgency, and more focused on what truly matters. One of my clients, a former engineer from Iran, won over his Canadian employer during a factory crisis. While younger technicians scrambled, he calmly isolated the power supply issue because he had seen a similar pattern 20 years earlier in Tehran. That is not just experience, it is pattern recognition at the speed of instinct. In your interviews, tell stories where your judgment prevented a costly mistake or steadied a frightened team. These narratives are unforgettable. Wisdom is the ability to hold multiple perspectives and choose a path that sustains relationships and results. It wears many faces, knowing when to listen rather than speak, sensing the unspoken tension in a meeting, and offering a suggestion that saves face for everyone. In a multicultural province like Ontario, where teams often bring together a dozen nationalities, this emotional intelligence is a business asset. Frame it for employers as cross-generational and cross-cultural collaboration. You are not old, you are a human bridge. Figure, with light background and high contrast, create image in landscape orientation best describe and represents the flowing, make sure it is accurate and there is no repetition. Extra detailed AI-ready prompt for AI-generated diagram showing an iceberg illustration. Above the waterline, small visible text reads technical skills, software, machinery, certifications. Below the waterline, a massive submerged section is labeled reliability, judgment, mentorship, crisis calm, cross-cultural understanding, and pattern recognition. The water is calm and clear, and a bright sun illuminates the whole iceberg, implying that subsurface skills are powerful and valuable. The style is clean and infographic-like, with a gradient blue background. Section 2.4 Identifying your career superpower and crafting your value statement. All this mining, translation, and reflection now converges on a single, sharp point, your career superpower. A superpower is the intersection of what you do better than most, what you deeply enjoy, and what the Ontario market needs. It is not a job title. It is the essence of the value you bring to any room you enter. I have seen a retired nurse discover her superpower was creating order from chaos in emotionally charged environments. She now works as a patient flow coordinator. A former small business owner from Colombia realized his was taking an underperforming team and turning them into a loyal, high-efficiency unit through trust and structure. He is now a shift supervisor in a distribution center. Your superpower already lives inside your 3-column inventory. Look for the skill that appears repeatedly across different episodes and continents. The one that made colleagues seek out your advice, even when it was not in your job description. That is your nucleus. Once you identify it, you must craft a value statement. This is a single sentence, a verbal handshake, that tells an employer who you are, what you excel at, and what outcome you deliver. A formula I teach is, I use my superpower to help type of organization or people achieve specific result. For example, I use my talent for untangling chaotic scheduling systems to help manufacturing teams reduce overtime costs and improve on-time delivery. Another, I harness my calm, methodical approach to quality assurance to help food processing plants pass audits with zero critical findings. Practice your value statement until it feels as natural as your name. Use it in your LinkedIn headline, your resume summary, and the "tell me about yourself" moment. It will anchor you when doubt creeps in, and it will make your professional identity instantly graspable. Remember, the goal is not to be everything to everyone. It is to be exactly the right person for the organizations that need your specific blend of lived wisdom and practical skill. You are not starting from zero. You are starting from a mountain of evidence. Now, go show Ontario what you are made of. Exercise: craft your value statement. Open your 3-column inventory and circle the competency that appears most and energizes you. Think of 1 or 2 vivid moments in your past where using that skill made a dramatic difference. Write a first draft of your statement using the formula, "I use my superpower to help who? Achieve what?" Speak it aloud and refine until it feels true and powerful. Share it with a trusted friend and ask, "Would you hire someone who said this?" Figure, with light background and high contrast, create image in landscape orientation best describe and represents the flowing. Make sure it is accurate and there is no repetition. Extra detailed AI-ready prompt for AI-generated diagram showing a template for a value statement. A clean, modern desk scene features a half-written sentence in large, friendly serif font on a piece of paper. "I use my ___________________ to help achieve ___________________________________________________________________________________________________ A fountain pen rests beside it, and a glowing starburst doodle highlights the word superpower where the first blank is. In the background, softly blurred, are Canadian industry icons like a warehouse, a clinic, and an office tower, symbolizing the market context. Lighting is warm and motivational, with a sunrise color palette. Figure mind map. Create a detailed mind map for the chapter "Your Greatest Asset, Uncovering a Lifetime of Transferable Skills." Central node displays the chapter title. For main branches emerge, Section 2.1, Skills Audit with sub-branches 3-column mining method, life episode, action verbs, Ontario competency, include unpaid roles, cluster and energize patterns, Section 2.2, Translate achievements with sub-branches CAR framework, challenge action result, mirror Ontario job keywords, before-after bullet transformation, use mentorship language, Section 2.3, Soft power skills with sub-branches reliability as signature, judgment as pattern recognition, wisdom as emotional intelligence, iceberg analogy, Section 2.4, superpower and value statement with sub-branches find intersection, skill plus joy plus market need, value statement formula, I use my to help achieve, verbal handshake practice, examples from real clients. The mind map uses warm, earthy tones with clear iconography, a pickaxe for mining, a bridge for translation, a lighthouse for soft skills, a compass for superpower. Overall style is professional yet welcoming, neat lines, no clutter. Ideal for use as a chapter summary and visual aid.